Hello everyone and welcome back to our fourth video on this series of tutorial on how to create a membership management app in Five. Now in the previous video we learned how to create this form and we went a little in depth into it. Now in this video what I want to talk about is how we can write our SQL queries inside Five. Now in order to write queries inside Five, as you saw, we click on data and then simply we have this menu that says queries. Now since we can build tables inside Five, probably not a surprise that we can also of course write our own queries. Now once you click on add item, first Five will ask you for which database would you like to build this query off. Since we only have this one members app database, which is our internal MySQL database, we'll select that one. Start by giving it a name. I'll just call it my members query. And now we can click here, which is click to add. Once you click over here, now Five opens up this code editor, which is very similar to MySQL Workbench or any SQL workbench that you use. And of course, here you have the freedom to write your SQL queries. For example, if you do a select star from our members table, and now I can hit run and see my results right here in front of me. As you see, we have these two records, John Doe and Jane Smith, with all of the details, and both of their statuses are pending. Okay, now this is one way through which I can write an SQL query inside Five. The other way is through Designer. So if I click on Designer, now here I can write my queries visually. For example, if you click here on Add Table, and now if I click on Members, so Five opens up this members table in front of me. Okay, for example, let's say if I want to build a query that displays the name, email, and phone number of my applicants. So what I'll do here is I'll simply double click on name, double click on email, and then phone. And as you can see, I have them right over here, and basically it's indicating that I have these fields selected. And now if I click on run, as you can see, I get my results right here again with their name, email, and phone number. Not only that, after anything you do inside the visual editor, it can be converted right back into SQL. And of course, anything you do inside the SQL can also be converted into the designer. So it's a to and fro relation. If you're comfortable writing it visually, you can do that, but you're not limited to it. You can always and anytime convert it into SQL and back into the designer. Okay, now what I want to do is that I want to build a feature for our managers. I basically want to build an interface like this where the managers will get to see all the pending applications, and then they get these two buttons which are called accept and reject. And basically, yes, they will have this interface through which they can get all the pending applications, and through these one they can either accept or reject these applications. Okay, so in order to build this one, let us go back to our query, click on designer, and here what I want to select is from a members table, I want to select the name, the email, and the date and time. Now in the aliases, I'll just give the name as an alias of name. Similarly with email, I'll call it email, and date and time we can call it when. So when did they apply to be a member? And now if I click back to SQL, I get my SQL. Okay, here I can add other conditions like where status is equal to pending. So now I get all the pending applications, and let's click on run, and this is what I want. Now what I'll do is I'll give it two extra fields. First can be a text which just says approve as approve, and here we can have a text that says reject as reject. Now let's hit on run, and now I get these text which says approve and reject. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the display type from simple text to functioning buttons. So let's click on save. Now let's click on our fields. Now here you can see I have my approve and reject. If you click on one of them, okay, here we can change data type, and we can also change their default display type. Here in the default display type, I'll just convert it from a text to a button. I click on save, and let's do the exact same thing for the reject text as well. click on save and save again. Okay, one more thing. Currently I'm calling it the members query, but now since we are only getting the details of all the pending applications, let's rename it to pending applications query, and let's click on save. Okay, now since I'm done with building my query, now I want to put it in my end user application, and that can be done by putting this query inside a data view. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on visual and then data views. Inside data views, let's click on add item. Here, first things first, you want to add a data source. So let's click our query, which is pending applications query. Let's give it a appropriate title. I'll call it the pending applications view. Here in the let's click on the data fields, and I get all of my fields: name, email, and both of the buttons. I can add other screen fields here as well, but of course I'll play around with it later. And now we'll just click on save. And lastly, let's put this pending applications view as a menu item. So we can do that by clicking on visual and then menus. Inside menus, let's add in a new menu item. Let's call it pending applications. And inside menu order, let's give it a menu order of 2 so that it appears second on the list. And in the actions, let's quickly select our data view and save. Okay, let's run our application again. Okay, now we can see that we have a new menu item here. It says pending applications. And as you can see, we have a very similar interface through the which we saw earlier. We have a name, email, when we got the application, and even 2 buttons which says approve and reject. Now currently they're taking a lot of space, so let me go back to the data view and just redefine the width of each item. So let's do that by minimizing it. Let's click on visual. Let's go back to data view. Here inside each field, we can customize their width here. So currently it's 50. Let's just reduce them to half, which is 25. And we'll just do the exact same thing for each field, which shouldn't take much time. So from 50, we turn each to 25. As we are done, we'll click on run again. Click on pending applications. Now we have a very similar interface of and bam, we got a very similar interface. Okay, so in the next video, what we would like to do is that we would actually like to add some functionality to these buttons. We would like to be able to click on approve so that we can approve applications, and click on reject to reject them, and that would be done through simple JavaScript functions. Okay, if you like today's video, make sure to like and subscribe, and until then, thank you all very much and see you all very soon.